Welcome to the VOLUNTEA podcast where we spill the VOLUNTEA. We are
Ilse
and Charlotte. We are two volunteers who currently live in Piran, Slovenia. We wanted to share how we became volunteers and if it's still worth being an ESC volunteer or going abroad during this pandemic. ESC is an EU initiative for youth volunteering, so you can choose between projects that all benefit communities and people around Europe. Yeah, you can choose between short-term and long-term projects, and long-term projects usually last between 2 and 12 months. There are a lot of different fields you can work in, such as youth work, environmental conservation, or also mental health.
Well, there are different ways to become an ESC volunteer, but I did it through a sending organization. I just went to their site, contacted the organization, and they helped me through the process.
There's a database on a website called European Youth Portal where you can see different projects that are searching for volunteers. You can, look for projects in different countries, or you can also look for projects in different areas, whatever matters the most for you. Yeah, the other option is, as Ilse says, you can find a sending organization in your own country that has probably worked with some projects in the past, and then you can apply to one of them. Ilse, do you want to share your story?
I knew from age 14 that I wanted to take a gap year and go abroad. When I was in my last year of high school, I was looking for projects to do online. My mom found Erasmus, and that was kind of the cheapest way, because there are you can go to Africa, for example, and just spend a lot of money on volunteering. And I knew that I didn't have that much money to spend. This is what we found. It was actually perfect for me because, you had volunteering, you went abroad, you stayed in the same place for a while, and you don't have to pay that much money. So that's such a big pro to me. You don't have to pay money to do volunteering. You actually get money for food and to stay at a place here. It's not the other way around. Going so young away for me, it's going in Europe itself. Yeah, it's just a smaller step to the bigger ones.
Yeah, I think normally you could go home for the weekend. I mean, flights are pretty cheap within Europe. Right now, obviously, there are travel restrictions, but you're just closer to home. If something happened, you would be home in a few hours. So I also always wanted to go abroad after high school. It wasn't an exchange year, but I spent 8 months in New Zealand while I was in high school, and I just really enjoyed living abroad, I guess, and I wanted to go abroad again after high school, but have a different experience. And initially, I wanted to go to Chile in South America and do a volunteering project there, for a year as well. And I found an organization, applied. I even knew my project. I was going to work with refugees. Then guess what? Corona happened. And obviously I couldn't go to Chile at that point. I have no idea if the borders are open right now, but at that point it just wasn't possible. I really had to find plan B. I was thinking if I should just start studying, but it just didn't sit right with me, because I didn't just want to do a year abroad for nothing. I really believe in the benefits you get from it, so I still wanted to have that even during a pandemic. So I heard about this ESC project actually on a seminar I attended for the program in Chile. I looked into it, and then I also applied for a sending organization, and then I found the project here in Piran, Slovenia. I actually didn't really know that much about Slovenia. I knew that I had driven through it when going to Croatia, but I googled Piran, it looked really beautiful, and I applied. And then I had the interview, and I just thought that I got on really well with Martina and Badia, and I was on my way 2 weeks later. Literally, it was quite spontaneous. Okay, so what is it like here living in Slovenia and volunteering, especially during Corona times?
Right now, it kind of right now we're at home, which kind of sucks. But when we were not at home, it was so much fun.
We were not at home for 1.5 weeks. Slovenia lifted the lockdown, I think mid-February, maybe beginning of February. But the region where we live in is the worst off in the whole of Slovenia. So our youth center only opened 1.5 weeks before a new lockdown was announced. We have just spent a lot of time working from home.
Yeah, that kind of, I got used to it, and I think, we cannot do a thing about it. It's in everywhere else, it's just the same. So I've, accepted that. But I just really enjoyed those 1.5 weeks where I would go to work, just work in the morning, and then after in the afternoon I would play games with the children and just talk with them. I learned a lot of like more Slovenian, I think, in a while. Like, you actually talk to them, because I think those months where we were just staying at home, we actually didn't really learn a lot of Slovenian. So
we didn't really interact with the
no, we went to the supermarket and that was it.
I think in the beginning it was fine working from online because everyone was like, okay, this is a new situation, and the kids were also really motivated to play online games. But yeah, now I think everyone is just fed up with the whole Zoom thing. And I also think we hit a low in November because we literally didn't see anyone for a month.
Even in our household, like we hit a low. We had days where we didn't even see each other, like.
So that's why we also decided to go home for the whole of December, basically over Christmas. And I think that was a good decision as well, because I think we were both really fed up with the situation. We still worked online, we still saw each other every day, like on Zoom. And yeah, it was just nice to spend Christmas with our family, I guess. But then it was also really good to come back in January when things started to look a bit better and we could do more stuff. Obviously, there's still restrictions, and right now we're in like a mini lockdown. I think we really made the best out of the new freedom we had. Like we made a lot of trips all around Slovenia, and we also like just here in the Lucia or Piran municipality, like we've done a lot. Like we went stand-up paddling, we went hiking, we went to the beach, we go to Piran to get ice cream a lot because the ice cream is really good.
It's really good, yeah. Compared to the supermarket ice cream, it's so bad.
Also, Slovenia is kind of like a hidden gem. I don't think a lot of people know about Slovenia, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's like not well known at all. The country has really like a lot of things to see, especially like nature kind of stuff.
In such a small space as well. Yeah.
And Ljubljana is really pretty, but also like Piran has like it has like multiple countries in the country itself.
It's like an intersection of like the Germanic, the Slavic, and the Italian kind of world.
It is really pretty because the part where we live at, it's like really Italian kind of vibey, and then you have the other side of the country.
Yeah, it's like kind of like looks like Austria but with a spin on it. I don't know.
Yeah, and the nature here is super, like it's beautiful, and
Ilse doesn't quite enjoy the mountains as much as I do.
The walking on them and walking down, but. The view is pretty, and like with my hate for mountains, I like it. So
yeah, Slovenia is just a really cool country. I think if you really want to go abroad because you want to learn another language, or like that's your priority, maybe Slovenia is not the place to go if that's your only priority, because like to be fair, Slovenian is really, really hard to learn.
And so like not a lot of people speak the language. 2 million people, so you won't meet a lot of people who speak the language, I think.
What I also wanted to say is like about volunteering in Europe as opposed to other parts of the world, if that's possible again. I think it's really cool because you are a European citizen. We all have the European citizenship. It's like really cool that you're allowed, or you have the right to live and work in another country. And I think it's really cool to make use of that, because for a lot of people, Europe is like this. Okay, there's some people living in Brussels making decisions that sort of impact us, but only like in an economic way. Like it doesn't really touch my life, and like I think that's the image a lot of people have about Europe. But I think Europe is like a lot more. Like there's this European civil society that you don't really take part in normally.
And there are so many different cultures here. It's like. I would think there are way more cultures here than the United States, even though I've never been there, so I'm actually not allowed to say something. Yeah, for example, they only like most of the country speaks like English, and I mean that's so not Europe. Like there are so many different languages in this continent, I guess.
And I think it's also important to kind of meet other people, because I think we all have like different ideas and different opinions about the EU and Europe as a whole. And I think it's really important to exchange with other people from other countries, and like because they have different ideas and they think like different problems should be addressed. You live in another country, like we live in Slovenia, but we meet people from all over Europe.
Yeah, like you learn so much more also about their cultures,
Oh yeah, also I think what's really cool about the ESC, and what might be an advantage of like home office and working from home right now, is that it leaves you with a lot of time, a lot of space to develop your own projects. You know what I mean? Like I think most ESC projects, they're really open. If you're like, okay, I'm really into filmmaking, or I'm really into whatever you're into. I don't know, even if you're into knitting, for example, they'll probably happily accept knitting workshops for their children, and you know what I mean? Like you can really bring your own interests.
Yeah, it's really free,
them.
and the last volunteer from the Netherlands here made like a science club.
Yeah.
And did just science projects with other people, but there are also people who are just traveling. Well, not right now, but we're traveling. Yeah, I just made like a travel video thing about our travels.
To wrap it up, we can say that doing an ESC is definitely worth it. It's a really cool experience. Yeah, I mean, there's still things you can do. Corona's in every country, so even if there's a lockdown in Slovenia right now and in Germany that there isn't, probably in 2 weeks it's going to be the other way around or something. So you can't really plan. But I think a lot of projects will hopefully have like a good concept to do online stuff right now, so you can still work and you will have a lot of time to develop your own projects.
Ah oui.
Thanks for listening to this podcast.
Okay, have a nice day. Ciao.
Ciao. Na svidenje.